So a few weeks ago, I made a video talking about how you could colonize Old Valyria with the use of a submod called Colonizable Old Valyria, and a few of you mentioned that there was another mod that you could use that would expand Essos and give it more territories. But did you know, as of Monday, January 12th, that those mods have now combined? This is the Legacy of Valyria, a brand new submod for Crusader Kings 3's AGOT that I think is going to take this game by storm. It is easily, in my opinion, one of the most ambitious submods that I have ever seen for this mod, and I think it's going to completely change the game, and I cannot wait to check this out with you today. Bit of a disclaimer here, this video will not be gameplay. This is more or less going to be an overview video since this came out so recently, and since this one is coming out on a Wednesday, I really wanted to get something out quickly to help support the mod and to get the word out. So I do expect me to make something soon, but don't expect that to be this one. This one's mostly just going to be checking things out and seeing where they're at. But without further ado, let's begin. So to start, this is the map, right? It's incredible. It's enormous, the amount of stuff that they've added. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what this is actually added here, I'm going to go over that. I'm not going to show you the old screen just because you don't have to. I can just tell you. So everything from Penthouse North, this is all new. Everything from Mir, Volantis to the east of this is all new. In fact, I don't even think Volantis isn't even in the mod. So it's actually this. About Lys, this area. This is all in AGOT right now, just this. Which is still a lot, mind you. But Volantis, Bravos, the Painted Mountains, Marine, Astapor, you even have the snakes down here. There is so much for us to explore right now in this video that I really want to show you. So without further ado, let's just scroll in. Let's zoom on in. And this is an insane project because they've been working with various modders and modelers to bring these areas to life. Whereas before, you know, like if you look down in Old Valyria, before we continue, you may have noticed in a previous version that the map was kind of basic, right? It wasn't really mountainous. It was sort of plain. There wasn't a lot going on, but they've done a lot to improve the area and to actually give it some proper flavor. And it looks fantastic. As you can see, there's actually a little sleeping dragon up here. That's quite fun. For this example, let's just load into Bravos. And first of all, I want to show you just the amount of effort and the amount of care that has been taken with the modeling of Bravos. Look at this beautiful model of the Titan of Bravos. Looks phenomenal. Bravos itself looks incredible. And you can actually read the description of the Titan of Bravos if you so wish. Included by famed Westerosi scribe Lomas Longstrider as one of the wonders made by man, the Titan of Bravos stands as the primary line of defense of the free cities of Bravos, guarding the narrow entrance into the lagoon in which it resides. It is a massive statue of granite and bronze in the shape of a warrior, acting as both a fortress and a lighthouse. Murder holes beneath the statue's armored skirt and arrow slits all over its breastplate provide a near impenetrable defense against enemy ships entering the lagoon. Now, this is just one of the examples of models that have been added with this mod. In the beginning of the video, you saw me going through Volantis, which is over here, and there's a bunch of descriptions for that. If you come over here to like Marine, you can see the pyramids, which will have their own descriptions as well. So one of the things you're going to notice right away is that you have this resource system. This is used for crafting various artifacts, various items. As far as I can tell, and I've been like trying to glance around for this, the main one or the beginning one is like making an iron mine, which I'm assuming once you build that, you can start advancing towards the other features. I would assume that you can only mine for Valyrian steel if you control parts of Valyria, and I'm pretty sure the only way you can do a colonization expedition is if you have like Valyrian culture or like Valyrian DNA. So you'd have to be like Volanti, and then you can do a Valyrian colonization or ruin restoration project, which are, you know, both unique to them, and you can then start trying to colonize or trying to take places in Valyria. This model is just insane. Some of them, I think one of these is actually still in use, and it's this one over here. Yeah, the city of Illyria, or the Dragon Palace of Illyria, looks just unbelievable. And honestly, there's a lot of unique faiths now, or new faiths rather, like the Moon Singers for the Vorvosi, or the Mother Royne, or the Great Stallion for the Dothraki, which you can see they have their holy site here. They don't have their big two horses there yet, but I'm assuming they're going to add that later. They have the Harpy for like Marine, and the Giscari, I believe. They have Valyrian, of course. And then over here you have the Shadow Binders for the Ashai, which is fantastic looking. The land looks just horrifying and weird and mystical. One of the other additions to the mod is magic, and the reason I'm in the landless gameplay menu is because this is the only way I'm going to be able to show you how you can unlock it. You actually have to visit a location that has magical elements to it. That would be these places over here in Old Valyria. As you can see, you may discover the lost secret of magic. This will allow you to find like scrolls, and I believe allow you to build certain buildings. I don't know if that's only something you can do as like a landless person. I'm not sure if you could do like a pilgrimage. Let's find out. Let's just see if that's something that we can do as this character. let's say I want to do a pilgrimage. I want to do a pious pilgrimage, and I want to go to, okay, I want to go here. 171 gold. Let's just see. Let's just find out what happens. Because I want to try and show you this in this video, obviously without doing too much. And yeah, we'll just pick whatever, and we'll hit go. We're gonna set out on a pilgrimage. It's gonna be great. Now, an interesting thing too is, since we're already here in Volantis, and I want to show you, they have this unique window now where you can show your province off. And because, you know, this part of the world has slaves, you can actually sell slaves in this submod now. So you can have an economy based around slavery that will boost your, you know, productivity. You can get yourself a little bit of extra money if it's something that you're concerned about. It's kind of crazy. You have a lot of information about your cities and stuff. As I said, you can mine for resources. I'm pretty sure, depending on where you are, we'll have different resources. I'm not sure how that works, but we're going to try and come down here, and I just want to see if we get some sort of unique event to pop up, and we'll go from there. And if you check, a couple people have unique decisions as well, since I'm just traveling. Like, we have established the Empire of New Valyria, so I would have to completely control Volantis for that, which would be this whole area, which is honestly not that much. You kind of just have to conquer the Dothraki, and they're really weak in this mod, which is kind of crazy. I feel like they should be a little bit stronger. They're pretty well known for that. At least at the time of this, I'm doing the latest bookmark here. But obviously you can play as Dothraki now. That's a huge thing. I'm very curious to see what we get with this. Through the caprice of lost gods, you found a hidden cache of learning, old scrolls and dusty books. This is a supreme opportunity, a chance to learn deep from ancient lore. It's time to decide what you will do. Will you take up the ancient secrets and become mage like the dragon lords of old, or will you co-sign these occult secrets to the pits of hell? I would like to learn them. You travel through the blasted lands of the once great empire, have brought you to this unholy place, the ruins of Argoria. Oddly, the first thing you notice is the utter lack of sound. It is as if no life can bear to exist within the side of a volcano. You also see strange stones of pure black, leaking an oily substance that seeps from their pores. Immediately you are struck by the overwhelming sense that something essential is missing from this place, something ripped away, not just from the physical world, but from the very foundation and concept of reality itself. And then you feel it. The unmistakable sensation of being watched. It is not a simple gaze, but a piercing scrutiny, as though your soul is being observed and dissected by a presence beyond the natural order. You feel exposed, your essence laid bare under the timeless cosmic heavens. Something is taking you apart, diagnosing, possessing, and dispossessing you. A whisper begins to creep into your mind, insinuating itself into the core of your thoughts, speaking words not your own. What unfathomable entity has turned its gaze upon you? And how is it connected to the horror that has remade the very essence of this land? Argoria has been forever transformed by whatever happened here, and with a growing sense of dread, you realize that you too are being changed, perhaps just as terribly. Something is wrong. I gained the Acolyte trait. So this is a new feature, right? And this is the various types of different magics that you can unlock within the mod. Obviously, we're not going to be exploring those today because we don't really have the time in sort of like an overview video. I'm mostly doing this just to get the word out and to show you how you can unlock magic, which is this way. And there's a ton. Apparently there's like 90 something spells, I believe is what the Steam page says at the moment. So you can unlock those by coming here. You have the Scroll of Mystery Replication, ancient scrolls from Valyria that speak of prophecies and dragons, which is how we unlocked it. And I believe now that we've unlocked it, we get a chance to build a new building. Yes, okay. So now that you have discovered magic, you can build Mage Archives, which I believe gives you, yes, drops of power, trait experience. If I'm not mistaken, there is a, yes, blood sacrifice power and magical studies that you can do as decisions in addition to that, which I would honestly recommend doing this as Volantis. They seem like they're in a perfect position, or somebody over here in general. Maybe these guys, the Illyrians, just because they look really cool. They have this sick little island, and being the magical lord of a tiny little island sounds really cool to me. Don't be surprised if that's what I do, because that sounds really sick. But that's just an example of something like that that you can do within this submod now. Let's just check out the culture screen as well. So we have new cultures. We have Dothraki, the Roynish, which, remember, the Roynish are the people that came over to Dorne and they took it over a long time ago. We have the Miranese, we have the Giscari, we have the Astapori, we have some Mirish, some Lyseni, some Jelani, all sorts of things. Really, really, really cool stuff. If we look at government types, you can then see at a glance what sort of things we got going on here. So we have obviously Free City, we have Feudal, we have Feudal Paramountcy, we have Republic, we have Tribal. And actually it looks like we have something different down here. We have Pirate Captaincy, which makes sense. That makes total sense. There's some ruins. Of course, they don't have anything. Oligarchic, which Oligarchic just seems like it is really close to Free City. And Free City's not that different, to be honest. It's not like, you don't have like a a manor or anything. It's not like admin. Obviously, as the Bravosi, you have access to the Iron Bank. They have their unique faith, the Moon Singers. So as I said, there's a bunch of new unique faiths, and they all have taken quite a bit of care to reflect them accurately. Obviously, the Faith of Rolor is much more expanded because they are primarily, I believe, the Temple of the Lord of Light is in Volantis itself, which I don't think Volantis, because the ruler is Valyrian, I don't think he worships that, but you can see the Temple of the Lord of Light right here. In fact, you can read the description if you so wish. But that is just a couple of the examples. And honestly, I'm very excited for this mod, purely, not even just because of the magic aspect, although that is really, really cool. Huge plus for that. But honestly, just because of how much it adds. One thing about AGOT that does frustrate me is that the throne, the Iron Throne, it's very stable. More often than not, it does not shatter, and there's not a lot going on internally. Like if you're playing as the Ironborn, you can't really raid anybody. We had to wait for Essos basically to come around before it was even worth playing as. But now that we have this, and now that we have all of these places that we can check out and try and raid and do whatever, I think just playing as the Ironborn in general is way more incentivized. And that's not even to mention like you can play as the Dothraki and just go ham on people with raiding and such, because you're obviously a Dothraki. That's what they do. They raid, they pillage, they get slaves. You can be a slave master if you want to now. You can obviously colonize Valyria. So if you want to reestablish this as a proper kingdom, as a proper empire, rather, you can do that. There are perils and risks to that, of course, so that is something that you have to keep in mind. There's various new weapons and armors and stuff that you can forge through that new resource system that I showed you, which is just down here again. And you can see it on the top. I do think that this should probably be dropped down a screen below, because it's kind of far over now, and it's kind of messing with my head, but maybe it's something that you would get used to. I'm not entirely sure about this one, like in terms of application, like how you would make that work, like how you would get more than just iron. I don't know if once you build one, you can build the next building or whatever. It's not very clear to me. The biggest thing I did want to show you was how to find magic, because I've seen a lot of people asking questions about this, and this is how you do it. You just come here. But really, this video is mostly just here to be an overview, to show you all of the new potential places that you can play. I don't know if I'd play over here so much, but I definitely want to try out Volantis. Kind of want to try out the Dothraki. Kind of want to try out over here too, to be completely honest with you, which these guys are just feudal, so they're not going to be able to raid or anything. But it is... Oh, apparently, so these guys are feudal, but they can still raid too, which is honestly a huge plus for getting money to do, those magical expeditions or those pilgrimages that you want to do, because they are Valyrian. So they can also colonize Old Valyria. And they live in an Old Valyrian palace, as you can see. It's pretty sweet. I feel like this one could be really fun to play in, to be honest with you. So that's something, if you were wondering a spot to play, I recommend that. We obviously have this beautiful, bleeding, blood-red lake. A couple decisions, it looks like, for areas like this, like where you can establish North Valyria, or you can found a new Valyria, which is cool. So those are things that you can consider trying, or you could literally just be a landless adventurer and say, okay, I want to make a character who's going to literally travel from over here all the way to Ashai, just to see it, just to know what's going on over there, just to see the world, to see these places. And I think that would be really cool. I would love to try any number of these. Obviously, I'm just making this video to get the word out, let you guys know that it's out, let you guys know to go try it, because not everybody's a freak like me and has these things pinged to their Discord. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this video was an interesting little one for you to check out. As always, I want to thank my Paladin tier members. Those are Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Valadar, Doomyal, Zor, Luigi, Kandrif, Lachlan, Shadow King Drakan, Rezo, and Titus. You guys are awesome. If you want to try this mod out, it'll be linked in the description. And that is going to be it for me. As always, I'm Soul, and I will happily see you in the next one.